Welcome. This is our top story at this hour. All this mayhem in Europe has put the Indo-Pacific on the back burner. Nobody is talking about the South China Sea, but that may change very soon. The Quad foreign ministers are meeting in Australia shortly. Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne and Japanese Foreign Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa will meet in the first physical summit since the White House met last year. The Quad foreign ministers met with Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison ahead of the meeting. India and the United States held bilaterals ahead of the Quad meeting in Melbourne. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met with Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
See each other. Looking forward to getting together with our colleagues as well in a couple of hours.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Climate change and China's coercion in the Indo-Pacific region will also be in focus. Other areas of focus include counter-terrorism, cyber technology and maritime security. In the past, the Quad has talked about Afghanistan, Myanmar and North Korea. So will Ukraine be next? Reports say the US will raise the issue in Melbourne. But India will be circumspect. At the United Nations, New Delhi had refused to pick a side. The priority will be to keep it that way, but the Quad is crucial when it comes to dealing with the crisis. Both Australia and Japan have offered gas shipments to Europe. If Russia cuts off supply, they could be an alternative source. Plus, Japan's parliament has passed a new resolution. It condemns any attempt to change Ukraine's status quo by force. Ahead of the meeting, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met his Australian counterpart Marise Payne. Blinken's trip is designed to reinforce America's interests in Asia. Antony Blinken emphasized that like-minded countries are now standing up for shared values rather than against China. Earlier, China accused the Quad members of having a Cold War mentality. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijiang lambasted the upcoming meeting. China further accused the bloc of trying to drive a wedge between regional countries. The Quad foreign ministers meeting is expected to lay the groundwork for the second Quad leaders summit. It will take place in May this year. Japan is all set to host the meeting and President Joe Biden has already accepted the invite.
Cyber and critical technologies.
Well, for more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, is joining us live from New Delhi. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast, Siddhant, and welcome. What will India be pushing for keenly in the Australia Forum?
Well, today is an important day in Melbourne. We know the engagements have already started, and about in 20 minutes' time, the Quad foreign ministers are going to meet in person. Focus, of course, will be on vaccines, on India's focus on when it comes to engagement in terms of connectivity in the region. Also, if we talk about the key outcomes later this year, as you pointed out, the Quad summit is going to take place. There is no definite month as of now when the Quad summit will take place in Japan. But one thing is for sure that it will take place in the first half of this year, and the Indian Prime Minister is expected to go to Japan for the summit. But by and large, the meeting comes at a time when we know that the Eastern European crisis, the Russian buildup at the border with Ukraine is something that has been causing alarm in global capitals. And the joint statement, in fact, there will be a joint press conference as well of the foreign ministers. What will be interesting to see what is the stance of the Quad when it comes to Ukraine, because remember, while many of the countries, including US, might not have good relationship with Russia, India has a good relationship with Russia, and choosing between two friends will be difficult for New Delhi.
Let's stay with that last point that you've made there. How significant or what impact will the Quad meeting have amidst the tensions in Ukraine?
Well, largely, if we look at how a relationship of each country bilaterally is with Moscow, there will be attempts to mellow down any strong criticism of Moscow in the joint statement that is expected to be released after the foreign ministers meeting. But by and large, what the Quad countries will be doing is to send a strong message to Beijing over its increased aggressiveness. If you look at the Quad countries' composition, one thing that is interesting is that 3 of the 4 Quad countries have announced their diplomatic boycott of the controversial Beijing Winter Olympics. That's India, Australia, and United States. Japan has chosen to send not a top-level delegation to the Olympics. So, by and large, it is the increased aggressiveness by the Chinese that is worrisome factor for all these four countries, and that essentially has brought these four countries together. While there is no security dimension, the countries are staying away from that. You can see how these countries have been working on non-security issues, especially on vaccines.
Finally, Siddhant, India has over time chosen to be circumspect, and we are reporting that, or wary about involving itself in the Ukraine-Russia tension. Why is that? And in the end, does India have any role to play in the de-escalation efforts?
Well, if you look at India's role and India's statement, India has been calling for a peaceful resolution of the problem that has erupted. Now, why is India doing so? Why is India not seen taking a stance? The biggest reason is that India has no stake in that part of the world. India has, in a sense, no worries regarding essentially a major fallout from what happens there, other than the fact that the world will be distracted with crisis there rather than dealing with China. So what India has been doing is calling on both Moscow and Washington to cool the tempers down and basically come to table and decide the issue. The biggest priority for India from the crisis is to make sure that its 20,000 Indian nationals, most of them are students, stay safe. And we already know that the Indian mission in Kiev is working overtime to get the data regarding the Indian nationals in the country, so that if there is any kind of invasion, as of now, we know that there is, the Moscow is saying that there is no possibility of such development. But if there is any untoward development, India is able to coordinate and bring its citizens back.
Live from New Delhi, thank you, Siddhant Sibal. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.